I found out she cheated. I didn't scream or beg. I ruined the one thing she cared about. I never thought I'd be the type of person to tell a story like this. You know those posts where people discover betrayal and do something so calculated, it feels like a scene from a movie? I always read them and thought, nah, I'd probably just cry, shout, or leave. But when it happened to me, something in me snapped. Not in an explosive way, but in this eerie, quiet way, like a glass of water tipping over in slow motion. It started with a receipt, not just any receipt, a stupid little slip of paper from a restaurant I'd never been to. I found it in the pocket of her jacket while doing laundry. At first, I thought it was nothing. People eat out all the time, right? But the thing was, the date and time didn't make sense. She was supposed to be working late. And the meal? 2 entrees, 2 drinks, dessert. The kind of dinner you don't have alone. I didn't confront her right away. I don't know why. Maybe I was scared of hearing the truth out loud. Maybe I just needed time to breathe. For 3 whole days, I kept quiet. I slept on the couch. I smiled when she spoke. I acted like everything was fine while my brain replayed every interaction we'd had over the past year, like a crime scene. I started noticing little things I'd brushed off before. How she'd text in the bathroom with the door locked. How she came home humming songs. I didn't know how she'd laugh at her phone before sliding it face down on the table. It was like suddenly my eyes had adjusted to the dark and all the shadows in the room looked like monsters. On the 4th day, she dropped the bomb. Not about cheating. No, she would never give me that honesty. Instead, she said, let's have people over this weekend. A little dinner party to celebrate my project at work. And that's when I decided. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to beg. I was going to ruin the one thing she cared about most, her image. See, my wife lived for appearances. She thrived on people admiring her, on being the glowing center of attention. To our friends, she was the perfect partner, the ambitious career woman with a loving husband. She fed on that admiration like it was oxygen. If I took that away, it would crush her more than any fight ever could. So I planned. While she bought wine and decorated the table, I was putting together something else, a photo album. Not just our usual pictures. This one had our vacations, birthdays, selfies, but slipped in between them were the receipts, the napkin with his handwriting, and screenshots of the text she thought she deleted. Every smile we had shared now sat next to the evidence of her betrayal. When the night came, she was radiant. She wore her favorite dress, the one she bought just for special occasions. She laughed her big fake laugh that she only used around guests. I showed up with a bottle of cheap wine and a smile that could have cut glass. Dinner was perfect. She made sure of it. Everyone laughed, everyone toasted, and for a moment it almost felt like we were still that couple our friends believed we were. But when dessert came, I stood up. I raised my glass and said, here's to honesty, to trust, to the fragile little things that keep relationships together. Everyone clapped. She beamed. And then I handed the album around. I didn't say a word. I just let them turn the pages. One by one, the laughter faded into silence. Forks hit plates. Eyes widened. Some people gasped softly, others looked down awkwardly. And then it was her turn. She reached the page with the first receipt. Her hand froze. She flipped again, and there was the napkin with the man's handwriting. She flipped again, and there was the screenshot. Her face went pale, then red, then drained of color entirely. I swear I could see the exact moment the mask cracked. She didn't say a word. She didn't even try to explain. She just got up and walked out. No coat, no shoes, just vanished into the night like a ghost. The room sat in silence until one of our friends whispered, "I'm so sorry." Another said, "Call me if you need anything." Nobody asked her side. Nobody defended her. The album told the story and it was undeniable. The next morning, I filed for separation, changed all our shared passwords, closed the joint accounts. I didn't post anything online. I didn't send screenshots to her family. I didn't need to. The album had already burned her reputation to the ground. You think it felt good, right? Sweet revenge. But the truth is, it only felt good for a moment. A week later, I sat alone in our apartment, realizing the silence was heavier than any argument we could have had. I had traded betrayal for loneliness. My hands didn't know what to do at night. My heart kept replaying the good times, even though I knew they were poisoned. But I tell myself this, it wasn't about revenge. Not really. It was about showing her the mirror she had been avoiding. She couldn't lie her way out, couldn't charm, couldn't pretend. She had to see herself the way everyone else now saw her. And maybe, just maybe, she'll think twice before she breaks someone else the way she broke me. If she doesn't, that's not my problem anymore. Because I walked away with the one thing she could never take from me, the truth and my dignity.